Guys. Look at my face, my poor nose. It was lovely and straight before. Now it's not. I know it's like pathetic, but it just made me want to cry. So you're probably wondering what's been going on. I thought it's about time. Had a little story time in this vlog. So last week, I started bleeding again because that's just what my uterus does these days. And I went to the toilet. If you can hear that noise, that's Molly coming in. Hello, sweetie. Do you want to come up? Yeah. Anyway, I went to the toilet because of the bleeding, and I fainted for the first time in my entire life. My whole 40 years, I've never fainted before. And I fainted, and I smacked my face on the floor, knocking myself out. And I woke up on my side, facing the wall with the window, so the toilet's like behind me, and the bathroom door's like this side, and I'm lying on that side facing the window, and there's just, all I can see is like blood everywhere, and I like, what the hell has happened? Because I basically, the last thing I remember was like going in the bathroom, and now I'm on the floor. So John was out for a run. He was working from home that day, luckily, but he was out for a run. He'd been out a little bit, so I thought maybe he's coming back, but I didn't have my phone or anything, so I was just lying there. I tried to get up, and everything just swam, and I felt really dizzy and sick, and I lay back down again and thought, I'm just going to stay here and hope that John's not too much longer. He was on his lunch break, so obviously he doesn't have that much time on his lunch break to go running, so I was hoping he was going to be back pretty soon. So then I heard him come through the door, and I was like, John, I need you, like, now. And he could tell obviously I was in the bathroom. So he came straight up the stairs, and then this is where we realised I'd locked the door. So I somehow, I don't know how, managed to unlock the door by sort of like sliding along the floor without actually sitting up and like putting my hand up like. So he came in to basically what looked like a flipping murder scene, because there's just pools, blood everywhere, and then me with my face a mess and all this kind of thing. I at first I didn't know where all the blood was coming from, but oh, it's a dishwasher. I was like, what the heck's that? But when I sort of came to, I guess, a bit better and sort of came more with it, I realised that it was my nose, because that's what I could feel across here. And I didn't even want to think about the fact that it was broken. I didn't want to think about it. But John immediately phoned the ambulance. He had his like phone on him because he'd been out for a run. So as soon as he came upstairs, he had his phone on him. So he, from what I remember, he was really quick for the ambulance. I saw from his face he was like panicked, obviously, because he's seeing his wife on the floor and all that mess. But he got the he phoned the ambulance, and then I vaguely remember him talking to them on the phone, like little bits and bobs. I think they were asking if anything was broken and if my nose was broken. John sort of looked round when I was lying on the floor, and he was like, oh yes. I remember that. And all this kind of thing, but I don't remember that much. Anyway, here in the UK, you don't have to pay for an ambulance because it's part of the NHS. So that's really lucky, but on the downside of that is sometimes you have to wait quite a long time for one. As it happens, there was one loitering a couple of towns away, waiting for a call. So as soon as the call came through, they were here in like 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes, with their like lights on. So, I heard that, so I felt slightly important. So I'm still lying on the floor because I don't feel like I could sit up. And 3 paramedics came in that ambulance because they have a trainee as well. And they came, I don't really remember, I remember a bit more about them later because when I went in the ambulance, but they were really lovely. The paramedics, whenever we've had paramedics or anyone we know have had paramedics, always been really, really lovely, dead calm. I could tell though from his face, his eyes. I think it's because I'm an empath, so I think like I really take note of these tiny little details sometimes, even apparently when I'm like not completely with it. And he did look a little bit worried because obviously everything was a bit of a mess. I'd obviously lost a lot of blood. Obviously I had to tell him about the reason I went to the toilet was for that bleeding, because that was likely that was what caused the fainting. So they took my blood pressure and all sorts of things. I can't remember exactly everything. I know my blood pressure's taken, and it wasn't too bad when I was lying down, but then as soon as I sat up, tried to sit up, it just plummeted. So they were quite worried about that, and they decided they thought they might need me to have some fluids, which they didn't have in their ambulance, and then they had to get another ambulance, who also was only a few minutes away. That was so lucky. Like, even when things are like not great, it's amazing how much luck there still is, if you know what I mean. So yeah, they came, and there was 3 paramedics with them as well, because one of them was a trainee, so there was 6 altogether. And so I could hear John in the corridor somewhere or down the bottom of the stairs trying to stay out the way with these 6 paramedics. We have quite a reasonable sized bathroom in this house. In our last house, it was really small. There's no way anyone could fit in there. I think there was probably about 4 paramedics at a time in there with me. And then there was one in a corridor, I think. And I think there was one that was with John near the bottom of the stairs, who was doing stuff with the ambulance, getting the ambulance ready and fetching stuff and things like that. And it was sort of a bit of a conveyor belt thing. I heard a discussion about a book that were in the hallway at one point between John and one of the paramedics. I remember that. But anyway, so they were faffing around with that. And then 2 of them were, well, 3 of them I think were female paramedics. And obviously I've been talking about, I was worried again about my towel, because I know I'd gone to the toilet, but I knew the towel would have been in there because it always was. But I was like worried about it because I could feel blood coming out of there as well. So like, do you want to try and change your towel? So they got it all sort of ready for me, and everyone else left, and there was just like a couple of the female paramedics with me, you know, just in case I just went poof. But I actually managed to sit up this point and got in the toilet, managed to change everything and all that. I managed to walk down the stairs. I had like a peg on my nose to stop the bleeding. It was so attractive that I can't even I can't even tell you. But anyway, so I managed to walk downstairs in my socks into the ambulance, and there was obviously one driving, and there was a trainee and a fully qualified paramedic in the back with me. And by this point I was more with it, so I could have a bit of a chat with them. I didn't know what my nose or my face or anything looked like at this point. I just knew that I had like blood in my hair, my top. I had this top on in white. Yes, it's since been replaced because there was no saving that. It was like a massive patch here. I'd obviously like lay in it as it was dripping down. So my arm was like that when I woke up, I think, like that. So it was like dripping down and stuff. And then I had it all down here in my hair, everywhere. It was not attractive. So yeah, ended up obviously going to the hospital, back to Derby Hospital, my favourite, and into A&E, which I've never been to before in that hospital. And well, I say we went to A&E, we went into a different room, so we sort of went straight in rather than sat in the A&E waiting room. Again, another problem with the NHS is it's great that you don't get put with a massive bill when you have like situations like this. But the problem is you have really, really long waiting times, and it can take like 8 hours in A&E. And obviously if you, assuming you're there because you're really not feeling very well or you're in pain, it is an ideal situation. And the buildings are really, really old in hospitals these days. So it's like, it's not a nice place to be basically for 8 hours in pain or whatever. But luckily, they obviously thought it was serious enough for me to skip that bit, and ended up moving to a like hospital bed. Paramedics took me in there, looked after me, sorted everything out. John was on his way, and there wasn't enough room for him to be in the ambulance, so he came in the car. It also meant that he could grab some clothes for me to change into, because obviously I had blood all over them and all that kind of thing, lock the house up and all that. So he did all that, and he wasn't that long, to be honest, or it didn't feel like he was that much after me. And yeah, so they took my bloods, again, blood pressure, all sorts of stuff. There was like 3 women prodding me and, you know, all this kind of thing. So I don't know exactly what was going on, because again, I was much more with it at this point, but I was still a bit like, what the hell? So then I got moved into like resus, which is weird because obviously I didn't need resussing. I was awake. But I don't know whether they just didn't think I was going to be stable enough or whatever. I don't know for that long. But I ended up in there, and I had a bit of a funny spell again. But obviously I was lying down in the bed, and they gave me like that tranexamic acid that doesn't work. I did it in a drip, and I was like, I don't think this is going to work. It didn't work. They did it anyway. I was like, you know what? Just do it. It didn't work. I knew it wasn't going to work. So I'd actually supposed to be going to the doctors or having a call back from the GP that day to get some more tablets for the bleeding that had restarted. So I'd literally finished the northisterine on the Sunday morning, started bleeding on the Tuesday, and then collapsed on the Thursday. So I'd been trying to get the tablets to stop the bleeding. So obviously I don't want another blood transfusion or anything like that, or collapse. I never thought I'd collapse, to be honest, because again, I've never fainted in my life, never broken a bone in my life, never been knocked myself unconscious in my life. So that was great. So while we were in there, John obviously was with me by this point, and I was like, I really need the toilet, because obviously I'm still bleeding quite a lot. This is the problem. So they were like, oh, you can use a commode. I was like, I'm sorry, what? I was like, can't I just go to the toilet? And they were like, because obviously I collapsed, they didn't want me to collapse again on the way. So they were like, I'll get the commode. And I was like, oh no. So it's the first time I've ever used a commode as well. Oh God, honestly, I felt like, I don't know, recently, I've been so lucky in my life as I've never had physical health problems until now, to this last year or so. And it, you know, everything else about me is healthy. So I can move around as normal as everyone else, all that kind of thing. I'm physically capable of doing everything. It's just that this bleeding and everything is stopping me from, you know, obviously collapsing, low blood pressure, all that. It's stopping me. So it's weird and frustrating, and also just, yeah, it's just weird. And I know a lot of people have to deal with this kind of thing on a day-to-day basis, and have done from a young age. And I've always admired those people, because I just think, how? You know, and I'm still thinking how right now, because I'm like, this probably, hopefully, will come to an end at some point with, like, you know, an operation or anything. But other people have to deal with it all the time. And yeah, it's weird. It makes you grateful as well, as, you know, obviously. Anyway. So they took more blood pressure, more everything, and everything was fine now, because I've been, you know, lying down or whatever, and my blood pressure had sorted itself out, and I didn't feel faint anymore. I felt a bit dizzy standing up, but basically I was fine. So they were like, well, you may as well go home. And I was like, okay. You didn't have to ask me twice. They got me some more of the norethistramine for then, and then I was to go back to the doctors to get some more, which I have since. And I'm still bleeding, but anyway, a week after that incident. So I've also got a combination pill, which I don't think is going to work, but I thought that I might add it, because it stopped working last time. We've already been down this one. Add it with the norethistramine and see if it actually does something. But anyway, I'm now feeling better. Had a wobble a couple of days ago again with my blood pressure. I had another sort of surge in the bleeding. There was a lot of clots and a lot of, like, I'm sorry about all the detail, but I feel like I need to say it for raise awareness, if nothing else, and you know, and things like that. But anyway, and it's very like loose blood, so almost like consistency of pee when you go to the toilet, and so it fills up the pad really, really quickly, and then like lots of like clots come out, not massive ones, but quite a few, of them. So yeah, so that was happening. That on Wednesday, got John to come back home from work, because he was in the office that day, because I was like, I don't feel well. I was in pain, sort of. It wasn't stomach cramps, it's like pain, but in my, you know, uterus, where you get stomach cramps along the bottom of my back. And he ended up coming home and helping me, and we've now got a blood pressure machine to try and have a look to see how that is going. The hospital just don't see you, as usual, being gaslit. They don't really not that bothered, because I mean, I'm still waiting obviously for results from, as you saw, my previous vlog from the procedure I had then. So I'm still waiting for results for that, which is what I was going to do my next video on, and then this happened, so this is now the next video. So my nose is still wonky. You can't see it as well because I've managed to get glasses on today. I never wear my glasses, but today I'm wearing my glasses just for this video. But also I'm intending to go to a fair this weekend with my business, and I don't want it to be too noticeable. And the bruising's gone down loads, but because I've got quite thick frames, it covers a lot of the bruising. I will show you. And it's making my nose look less obviously wonky. The swelling's gone down loads, if you saw the previous clips of this video. So there you go, look, there I am. So this is from the glasses there. So you can see it's like wonky here, so it's been shunted that way. And then there's bruising still here and here and across my nose. This is going quite a lot. This was all up here and down there as well, if you saw in the last clips. But now it's that side's gone quite a lot. Because I've got thick frames, you can't see so well. So yeah, that's good. So that's going to be what I'm going to be wearing tomorrow, just for the fair. But I will be taking these off today to give it, you know, breathing room and some space. It's only going to be for when I have to go out. But yeah, I've been hibernating at the moment. So yeah, that is the latest latest drama. I'm getting my nose reset on Monday. You have to wait for the swelling to go down before you can reset it, but also you have to do it before the bone sets itself in the wrong position. So I'm going there on Monday. I'm a little bit nervous, but I'll probably take you guys along with me, because obviously, you know, getting your nose sort of moved back doesn't sound very pleasant, does it? But I am excited about it, because honestly, I was so sad about my nose. Like, I've never had a problem with my nose. It's just my nose, you know? I've not gone and thought, oh, I've got an amazing nose. But it was lovely and straight, and I didn't realise how much I actually liked my nose until it wasn't straight. And it's just all I can see, because it's right on your face, isn't it? You know, obviously. And it's all anyone can see, and yeah, it was horrible. Anyway, so yes, I'll take you along with me on Monday. I'll show you the results afterwards. I might have more bruising and more swelling again. But hopefully a straight nose, which I'm most excited about. We have made it to the ENT ward to get my nose fixed. Appointment's at 11, it is currently 1:45, so if it's going on time, we've got a little bit to wait. But we didn't know where we were going, so we wanted to make sure we were early, didn't we, to figure it out?
Yes.
Yes. There's a big chair over there, so John's trying to figure out how many of him he could fit on it.
I can get 2 of me.
2 of you.
2 very cosy me's.
Yeah, you'd be very cosy, yeah. Guys, my nose is straight. It's still numb at the moment. I'm scared like stuff's going to come out of it and I won't know. Do you know what I mean? I'll just be sitting there and it'll be like, oh. You came in with me, didn't you?
Yeah.
It's out of the way. There was some weird like little crunch. I don't know, it almost felt like gristle rather than a bone. But as soon as I looked in the mirror, I was like, that's my nose, it's straight. Just a bit swollen. So I'm expecting more swelling and obviously pain after the thing wears off. And probably more bruising, but if it's straight, I'm happy.